are back. We are back, and you're listening to The Adam Harman Show on Talk Radio 790 KABC. You know, we're here again with Josh Siegel, numerologist extraordinaire, and we have so many questions, but we don't have all the time in the world, so I'm going to slip a couple more in. Is that good with you guys?
Sure.
All
Shoot,
right.
baby.
So here's a question that I ask all of my guests.
Okay.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
What 3 things can people start doing right now that will lift the vibration of the planet and make this a better place to live in?
It all starts with you. All the work I do is based on the concept that what you attract on the outside is, and by the way, mainstream psychology would agree with this because like attracts like. This isn't some grand new age out of the box theory.
Right.
It starts with you. Any kind of self-help material that works, by the way, that has some kind of efficacy, as my mother would say, but that it works, that you get something from, and it could be anything. That work on yourself and start changing the way you view things and your patterns, and that will domino out into what you attract. So that's number one.
Okay.
And number two, look at the people around you. We talk about, I call it the matrix. You will attract people based on where you're at. And you will attract people based on your numbers as far as you're learning those numbers, right? If there are people in your life that you're having tension with, think about what that represents to you. Why are they in your life, and what does it bring out in you? Start to take responsibility for that. I'm not saying it's all, your fault, but I'm just saying start taking responsibility for the dynamic, what plays out, whoever that person is, right? And then as you start to, use numerology or other things, you can start to change the dynamic, how you interact with these people. That's also another important thing to do.
Yeah.
And the third thing I would say is ask yourself, what do you want to achieve this lifetime? When you think of yourself, decades from now, when you look back at your life, what did you contribute? What did you do to make this world a better place? Where did you utilize your talents and your gifts in a way that makes a difference in life? Because that will give you the greatest fulfillment ever. Don't get caught up in how much money you make or, what you look like. Those are important things, but they're not as important as what contribution you make to the world. And I learned that from my parents.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are great answers. Thank you so much for sharing that. It sounds like your schedule's probably pretty busy these days. I know you were looking at your watch before, big guy. Are you still accepting clients? And if so, how can people get in touch with you? Where can they see you? Can you give them some insights on that?
Well, I'm revamping the website now, but it's joshcode.com. Joshcode.com. And there's a way to contact me there. It may take me a couple of days to get back sometimes, but I do fit people in from all walks of life.
Great.
And I like to help. That's why I'm here.
Well, that is absolutely marvelous. I would really love to, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for coming to the studio today.
Yeah.
Remember, folks, you can see Josh on our YouTube channel at The Adam Harman, that's Harman show. And you can see this great interview there. And you can see his lovely little boyish face, his boyish little face there. Josh, thank you so much for being a guest today on The Adam Harman Show. Ladies and gentlemen, Josh Siegel.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm experiencing some excitement in the air. It's almost like an angelic vibe. That can only mean one thing. Aurana is back with messages from the angels. Oh my goodness. Wow. Aurana, thanks for joining us.
Well, I am thrilled to be here, and thank you for that intro because I really felt that in my heart.
Well, that was darn well. Excuse me, darn well. Is that a bad thing? That was marvelous.
Marvelous sounds good to the angels.
Marvelous sounds good to the angels. I've got so many questions for the angels today.
Ooh, exciting.
But I'm going to have to limit them to just a few questions.
Okay.
Okay, so let's talk about current events a little bit here and there. Make this sort of like topical.
Okay.
All right. What do the angels have to say about the crazy wildfires, the crazy weather, the crazy earthquakes? It just gets crazier. Volcanoes, too. I mean, what's going on with all that? Are we getting like thunderbolts from heaven? What's going on here?
I know, it's sometimes as a conduit, I have to share information that isn't always what people want to hear. The truth is that we are heading towards a climate that's changing in ways that's kind of scary. And it's happening. But the good news is that there's a lot of good things that we can do about it. Mother Nature has been there for us, has loved us. And so it's time for us as human beings to be there for Mother Nature.
Oh my goodness. So Mother Nature has been there for us.
Absolutely.
Are we? So we're not being there for Mother Nature right now.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go.
Yeah.
So I'm getting that feeling here. So I mean, I find so many people out there right now who are talking about reconnecting with the planet. All right. There's a great new book out there called Grounding. It was actually research that was done through the UN Scientific Fund. And they actually talked about how individuals should actually walk on soil, okay, to be able to get electrons into their body from the soil and the earth to reconnect, sort of grounding.
Yes.
All right. And it actually lowers inflammation in the body by quenching free radicals. I thought you could only do that by taking supplements here.
Yeah.
So like what do the angels think about this whole grounding thing?
Well, scientifically, it also decreases the EMF, but the angels tell me that it's very healing. I think it was Hippocrates in BC who actually prescribed time in nature for healing, for stress. So literally, if we as human beings can begin to like put our cell phones down, stay away from technology, go out in nature, walk along the beach, go for hikes, hug a tree, just love nature in the way that it's been there for us to reciprocate that energy, then we'll find that we can sort of, reverse this crazy, crazy energy that you've been talking about that's been happening on the climate.
Well, that's great. You had brought up another point there that I want to get into as well.
Oh, okay.
Which is, what do the angels think about social media?
Oh.
My goodness, I'm like, strapped to my chair right now, just waiting to hear this answer.
Yeah. Well, when I've asked the angels about social media, they look at it as it's like a material form of communication. So spiritually, the angels communicate telepathically. There's not even necessarily like English words or Spanish words, because it's not like angels are only English speaking or only Spanish speaking.
Right.
So it's really more of like a communication from the heart. So social media is just this other platform for humans to be able to communicate, and they actually find it quite amusing that we do.
Okay. All right. Now, here's another one for you. I have like a list here. I wish I could have you on for hours.
Yeah, I would love it.
There you go. But we only have a certain amount of time. Wait a minute. How are we doing there? Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
So the next one is we seem to be in such an interesting yet volatile situation when it comes to the stock market. I mean, the other day we lost like 600 points, then it came back up again, and it's raising through the roof, and it's going to go down again. And I feel like I'm on a roller coaster here. What are the angels saying about the stock market?
Angels are they don't call it stock market,
What do they call it?
Well, they call it energy shifts around economy. That's how I look at it, and that's how they show it to me. So what's happening is that these energy shifts are representing what's happening internally within not just us individually, but also within our culture. So we as individuals and our own spirits are experiencing a lot of ups and down waves right now. So what's really important is not to get too involved in the ups and down waves, and just allow yourself to maintain a nice, easy, steady flow.
Oh, well, that's a darn good answer. I think that's good advice, don't you? There you go. All right. So another thing is we just came out of a month that had a supermoon, a blue moon, and an eclipse all in the same time. A lot of people were dealing with a lot of major changes.
Yes.
How did the angels look at that one?
It's interesting, and you're absolutely right. I saw this in a lot of readings where people were experiencing physical sicknesses. We saw this, just so many people having the flu, people experiencing a lot of depression, a lot of psychological issues were coming up, family issues, past issues. So last year, 2017, was a time when a lot of things came to light. 2018 is the shift where it was like, okay, all of these things have come to light, and now this is how we're going to begin to deal with it.
Uh-huh.
And the best way to do that is to be open to it. But for some people who weren't maybe ready to be open to it, it created some challenges for them to look deeper within themselves so that they could open it. So the angels don't see these things as like good or bad. They
Right.
see it as like part of our energy in our journey of learning lessons around love.
Oh my goodness. That's quite insightful. That sounds like it came from angels or something.
That's the only reason we're here, is to learn about love.
There we go. That is a good thing. We're going to be heading into break in just a moment. What do the angels think about soulmates?
Oh, wow, you've got all the awesome questions
Okay,
today.
if you can do that in 30 seconds, we'll really love you to death.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Well, from my soul to yours,
Mhm.
the angels say that we're all connected, we're all one. And so our soulmates are people who show up in our lives to help us graduate in our lessons around love. So you can sort of imagine it's like we're in school on earth. And so each soul you connect with deeply is there to teach you about a different lesson about love. So we can welcome each person who comes into our lives with open arms. And even if they leave, it's okay, because that just means that we learned what we needed to learn, and it's time to move on.
That's great. All right, folks, right now we're going to be heading into a short break, but when we come back, we're going to have a magical and mystical guest here on the Adam Harman Show.